What's that sound? What's that sound going on?
Uh, I was tuning my TV because I wasn't happy with the signal strength I was getting.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just landed on something weird. So let me
Save
get rid of
that,
that.
please. Save that. Because that's dad pants gear if ever I heard it. Tune in your TV. That's great.
There we go.
Um,
Well, it's looking pretty crisp.
oh,
Looking pretty crisp.
whoa.
I'm pretty happy with that. Hang on, let me just check. Channel 10, that was the one I was having trouble with. That's clear as all fuck, mate. That's
Fuck yeah,
fantastic.
Kenny. What are you rocking? You rocking a like a little rabbit's ears, or you got something on the roof there, mate?
I bought this in 2008
Go on then.
and it's still going strong. I'm so happy with it. Like,
Is
I'd
the
like a,
telly or the aerial?
no, the TV.
Yeah, nice.
The, I'd like a new TV, but also I'm so impressed with its longevity that I don't feel I can replace it until it actually dies. You know?
Mate, me and the wife got a new TV just coming into this whole lockdown thing. It's more problems than it's worth, mate. Stick with the old stuff. They're much better.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what I would do with picture in picture. Just get confused and
Yeah.
frustrated, I think.
Very. And you'd probably end up having the sound on the small one, which would be very confusing, and you wouldn't know what was going on.
Yeah. No, I'm happy. Like, 13 years so far, going strong with this telly. So, I'm not going to give up on it now. Why would I?
Why would you? But has it got an aerial in it? Is that what you were getting at?
Well, it's got an aerial plugged into the wall socket. Is
Yeah.
that what you
Okay.
mean?
So you're rocking with yeah. Okay. Outside area,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
upstairs on the roof. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Welcome to Dad Pants. You know you're welcome here. Even if you're a dad or not a dad. You might not be a dad, but just keen to hear about dads. You're welcome here. I'm Stu, and the new dad who we're talking to, who this podcast is all about, Monty, hello.
Hello, mate. How you doing? Absolutely. I want to extend that. Everyone's welcome in this Dad Pants universe. We take dads, non-dads, future dads, past dads,
Maybe
mums.
we haven't been clear about that. Maybe that's why our listen numbers are going the way they're going. Maybe you have to be a specific kind of dad to listen. You don't have to be a dad. That's number one. Nor do you have to be a specific kind of dad.
Or
Anyone
do
can
you have to
listen.
wear pants? I don't mind if you're not wearing pants. In fact, I encourage listening to the episode without pants
If
on.
you don't have pants, that's not my problem.
No.
Not worried. We're not worried about that here.
To be fair, though, I don't want anyone wearing capris listening. I'll take shorts, I'll take dresses, I'll take kilts, I'll take sarongs.
We do have to draw a line somewhere, don't we?
Yeah, and the line is around the mid-shin, and it's called a capri, and they're terrible.
Instead of worrying about who's listening to us, why don't we just talk about things that have happened to you from a dadding perspective this week, Monty? Anything new to tell us? Any new feelings, thoughts, experiences?
Absolutely, mate. Every week is more fun than the last. Being a dad, new things. One I had heard lots about finally happened to me and the beautiful Lindsay, and more so to the beautiful August, my daughter. This weekend, we decided with the current situation in Sydney, you can't go too far. You stay in your LGA, your local government area, and you do stuff. We went for a picnic.
Because we're all in lockdown for people not following Sydney situations.
Or people in the future.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, not the past. So we went for a picnic in our local government area, and we were lucky enough to pick up some fish and chips, sit down at a little kind of outdoor picnic area. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, actually.
Yeah, good. We had a nice couple sit down next to us, and they were very nice because of the mask thing going on in Sydney. That's for the future people and those not living here. They were very nicely said, "Hey, do you mind if we sit down?" I said, "Not a problem. That's fine."
Yeah. And they started coughing a lot, did they?
Oh, no, they were fine. They were absolutely lovely. It was us that had the problem. Baby August chose that time to have her first outside the house and first ever giant poo explosion.
Oh.
So we thought, oh, no, she's done a wee and it's gone up her back. That's no good. Well, we better get her changed. And now I mentioned the people sitting next to me because I made a cardinal sin that my wife picked up on later. Lindsay was very, very good.
You
She just
carried
dealt with-
August over the top of their chips, and there was a bit of drippage.
No, but we did end up changing her on the table, and I was going, and I was with them well in earshot. I'm going, whoa! Look at all that poo! Look how big! That's the biggest poo I've ever seen. Look at that! And Linz, as we left, said, "Hey, just shut up about the poo around other people if they're having lunch or anything." But yeah, it was quite a thing. So we hit a phase.
Your wife must have quite the life, just telling you things you should be doing.
Yeah,
pretty much constantly.
She is right about it all and gets it right, and probably has to pick up a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, hey, I did the right thing. I helped. We got it happening. We dealt with August, but I probably should have shut up about how big the poo was. Especially changing her on a picnic table.
Yeah,
but
someone came and just roped it off afterwards.
We have hit a phase of Augie's life though where she now doesn't poo for a day or two or three, and then gets it all out at once.
Yeah, that's not ideal, because they don't really make a nappy for that.
No, there was not
to
a nappy
withstand
the
volume of that.
Yeah, indeed. This volume was torrential. The word comes to mind, torrential, a torrent. Yeah, well, but it was a fun experience.
Yeah.
Do you have any history with poo explosions?
Is that a child yelling outside your house?
It is. It's not my child. It's a child in the next door house.
Yeah. Have you ever? Do you ever get the urge to stick your head out and go, "I've got a baby in here. Shut up."
I'm recording a podcast in here, don't you?
Well, that'll get you respect.
Yeah, people love that.
Did you ask me a question? You asked me about poo explosions.
I did. Do you have any recollections of any?
Well, yeah. I don't remember the particular circumstances, but you don't ever forget the sight of, that streak going up the back, and you just go, "This isn't going to end. Where is this ending? Somewhere between the shoulder blades. What's going on here?"
It's amazing.
Poor old Bonds onesies, just, it's never the same again.
How did you know she was wearing a Bonds onesie? Of course she was.
Every kid wears a bloody Bonds onesie, mate. There's a bloody Australian kid. Although I've heard recently that the onesies, like those kind of onesies, aren't really a thing anywhere else.
Yeah, we heard that too from our Canadian family. The Bonds onesie not worldwide. So we've sent some back to Canada. Yeah, indeed.
Who's doing the marketing of Bonds?
Could we perhaps take on a kind of importer-exporter role for the rest of the world and export some bonds?
Or at least ring Bonds and say, "Hey, listen, we've got an idea you clearly haven't thought of. Have you thought of trying to sell these to anyone else except Australians?"
Yeah, right? I like it. Maybe would they give us some money then? Or
You'd like to think so. Clearly, we've seen a little kind of niche that they haven't. Well, when I say niche, the rest of the world isn't really a niche, is it? It's just
if anything, we're the niche. Yeah, yes. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but that is indeed my baby crying. One that I better go and help, I think.
All right. Well, while you go and do that, we will go and talk to the pants panel. But just quickly before you go, next Sunday, Father's Day. Hey?
My first. I'm very excited.
Ooh, yeah. We better think of some things to do for the Father's Day episode. All right, go look at that baby.
Love it.
Pants panel coming up. Well, we're here with Monty and the Reduced Pants panel again, Matt and Rich. Hello.
Hello.
Right. Important news, important update. Monty, you've got a follow-up from last week.
Oh, yeah, the app that my wife outdadded us all with.
Yep.
So I got it from her.
I've got Google Play open right now. I'm ready.
Google Play? What are you? The iTunes store too good for you? Sorry, that was weird.
That was weird. Weird energy from Monty, but all right.
Sorry, got a bit weird there. Flight Radar 24, flight tracker. And It comes with a quote from my wife. After I asked her about it last week, this is what she said. Before knowing why she wanted it, I said, "Hey, what's the name of that app? You know, the flight app you have?" She replied, "It's fucking great. It's legit. It's what the fucking airport uses."
How deep is my app?
I said, "Cool. I just want the name, though." What are we talking about here? But yeah, so Flight Radar 24.
I think she outdated you again there.
Yeah,
That's a phenomenal response.
Was she watching one of her stories or something? Was the sport on? And she...
Well, it sounds like a woman who's kind of expecting to be ripped on any moment.
Yeah.
Can I? So I keep things like that quote she wrote, written in my. Stu knows about this, in my notes on my phone, and I occasionally find other things I've written for myself that kind of relate to something I thought was funny or something I thought would relate at some time to something else. And I found just below that note that I had a note for Dad Pants that I had forgotten about, and it was about father-in-law stuff, and it was see, I run the risk here because my father-in-law listens to this. I love him to death. I think he's great. And when he told me this, I loved that he told me. But he gave me a good father-in-law.
All right. Fawning, that's enough fawning. Pre-fawning.
Just cut all that out.
This was a while ago now, but I had written it down in my phone. He told me about the biggest thing he's ever seen when he was driving. He was driving back.
Hang on, wait.
Camping.
Let's all think about what's the biggest thing we've ever seen whilst driving.
Well,
Merino,
it wasn't like
pineapple.
he didn't pitch it as this is the biggest thing I've ever seen, but he said, "You won't believe what I saw on the drive back. It's the biggest thing I've ever seen driving." I was like, "That's awesome. I got to remember that." He saw a wind turbine. Yeah, one of the blades being carried by like 5 trucks. And yeah, right. I thought it was really cool too. But I just remembered that and thought that's a really good dad thing to mention here.
That's
but yeah,
very
just said,
dad. That's very dad to be like,
biggest,
oh,
and the fact that it felt very dad that he wanted to tell me. Like I saw this huge thing when I was driving. I was like, that's awesome.
I don't
wonder if he
think.
told his wife and she was like, yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty
You
much.
were up. Where's Monty?
How excited would you be to see that in the wild, though, on the road?
That's
Pretty
right.
fucking excited. Like
It's like when you see him carrying a house and you're like,
Yeah.
that's a house.
Yeah.
Why is there a
yeah.
house driving down the road?
Love that. Yeah.
We get some serious road trains coming straight past our school because we're on the state highway. So we get the good five trailer road trains come by every now and then, and they're pretty mental.
Are you the first one at the window, Ellis, when you're teaching
absolutely.
the class? Like, look at this.
Hey,
Drooling.
stop what we're doing. Come on, guys. Let's have a look at this.
And you smell the sheep trucks before you see them.
One of your kids is up doing a speech. You go, "Shut up! Get over here!"
There's a truck.
I was always the first one up. When I started teaching, I was always the first person at the window when a dog ran past. Hey, there's a dog in the school.
Come look, everyone. Get excited.
Oh, never mind. No, never mind.
Can I just say, though, that's an excellent... Sorry, there's an excellent point that Mont's brought up there, is that we started a Google Doc when our daughter started speaking, and we've added to it continuously throughout this wild and crazy journey. And it's something
What?
that brings
her
us...
lexicon? Like
brings
you
us-
have
Yeah.
added every word.
Yeah. Well,
of
no,
the
not
lexicon.
every
No,
not every
all the
word.
weird
Little
shit they
funny
say.
stories.
Weird phrases.
Okay,
So-
cool.
so that
I
me
thought
and
you
my
were
wife
adding
can-
every word she knew because that's very interesting too.
That's very, very, very
Literally
pedantic.
a lexicon. Yeah. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Not quite. Just the funny anecdote.
That's great, Ellis. I've done the exact same thing.
And that's become
That's awesome.
a great...
I will do that now.
A great source of mirth and something we can look back on. So you just date it, put it in there nice and quick and done and dusted, and then you come back to it, in
all
a few
the
months'
weird
time.
questions,
Yeah.
all the funny statements.
Yeah, well worthy. A good piece of dad advice, I think. I think
Yeah, it is. I've got several of those which need collating, which is probably an indication of my organisational skills in larger life. But
Yep.
I also take it. I also write down things my wife says in her sleep while she's dreaming. But I don't know if that's as cute.
Nice.
Pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I wrote down the
those-
size of my baby under that too. I had forgotten that.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
4.44 kilos, 20-gram poo straight away was what I wrote as well. And 52 centimetres
Wow.
and 37
What's that as a
centimetre head.
percentage?
That's a large percentage of body.
What a great question. Can you beat that? Now you got to weigh your own poop and do the same.
No, like I don't think we could get anywhere near that kind of percentage of body weight. That's quite a poo.
Always comes back to that, doesn't
I've written down underneath that, my dog's a conspiracy theorist. He thinks people are putting chips under his skin to track him.
Was that dated and timed as well, Monty? Like 3 a.m.?
No date and time there. I've explained to Stu, I do this quite often more when I've had a few drinks and I think it's something funny, and then I realise it's probably not that funny later.
Oh, dear.
Or requires more explanation than you're willing to give.
Yeah,
Or remember. I
remember,
just have no explanation for that. It's probably funny at the time.
Did you have more in-law stuff? Or
No, that was just, I had written that down. I forgot. I remember I had that conversation and it was like, it was post the baby being born, but they had driven home from camping. And like, it was a group chat and we're all talking. He said, Monty, you got to hear about this. I saw it giant. And I was actually like, yeah, that's fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah. So, yeah, that was it.
now, Monty, you wanted to ask the Pants panel about, entertainment you can consume that now that you're a dad that's going to, level up your dadding. What are some good dad films? What are some good dad shows? Is that right?
Yeah, and I meant it in a few ways. There's kind of two main ways. One was, what are some good dad examples from the media world?
Yeah,
like what are good dads to look at? And the other one is just what's good dad watching? Like what's good kind of, that's a dad show or a dad movie.
Well, the dad shows in my house are any time I get to watch the sport because it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
I think anything involving forging knives.
Oh, yeah.
Anything like that, or any kind of meat porn is always a big one as well.
Meat porn?
Yeah,
Meat
so
porn.
I don't mean literally.
Yeah, the term porn is thrown around a lot.
Yes,
these
I mean,
days.
I mean it in the esoteric sense. So the idea that you can watch someone smoking ribs and then they go and pull each individual rib out and you get this beautiful piece of ribless, boneless
Are
meat.
we talking porn still? Just regular porn?
It crosses some boundaries, let me tell you. It's very. And speaking of which, great dad. You got the Randy from South Park. He's probably the founder of.
Is he a model dad?
I think he's pretty authentic.
Yeah.
I think that he's closer to the mark than a lot of other dads.
Yeah.
Homer Simpson is archetypal television dad, right? Like that's.
Yeah, but is he a dad?
He is, but are you talking about aspirational?
You want to be? Yeah.
He went to.
I suppose he is a dumb.
Strangles his son for the first 9 years of the show.
Yeah, a lot of son strangling.
He is a monumental dumbass that's still managing to coast through life without too many consequences to actions. So
it's America, right?
He does some good dad moments. He does have some good moments. Like I think that my favourite is the giving up the ride on the duff blimp so that his daughter can go in the beauty pageant. That's pretty. That's daddy. That's pure dad.
Yeah.
I think one of the best TV dads, I thought real to life TV dads, was John Goodman in Roseanne.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yeah,
Yep.
good
Yeah, that's
example.
good.
Yeah.
Great example.
He was a good dad of like just being that presence in the house. And
especially of the era as well, I suppose. Also playing that foil to the slightly psychotic mother figure.
Yeah. But there was nothing.
That show was important. That was a good show. Good dad, but good mum too. Good family dynamic. Very new, different for television. Good show.
Once again, authentic.
Again, authentic. I always found him to be a really authentic dad of like.
Yeah, because he didn't have anything
dads
too
like that.
syrupy written for him or anything like that. You knew, like, he stayed on his level.
He was a
He
presence.
got mad, was fat, and watched football. Like,
And
you
he was that kind of dad too. That when he was mad, then holy shit, like run.
Yeah,
Like, and I grew up around heaps of dads like that. Even if they were your friends' dads, you're like, oh god.
Oh, that's
All right.
yep.
We've annoyed him. Better get out here.
Yeah. Ted always reminded me a bit of that.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that was always my limited exposure.
We're talking about
to
Stu's
Ted.
dad?
Yeah. He always had a bit of He was so laconic and easygoing, but you really wouldn't want to piss him off. He always had that air about him of, yeah.
I think it's probably an obvious choice, but Tim Allen.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't stand him. I think he was. I
understand that. Like, I'm not saying I enjoy it, but I'm saying if you're looking at Dad 101.
But was that? But was that a more of a? And this is what I mean. I think that he was more of what Hollywood or what the entertainment industry wanted us to think a dad is or was. Right. Or...
Yeah, but I've had a few moments, especially like doing home renovation or like home handyman stuff around the house where I've fucked something up and immediately going, oh my God. Back to jail with me.
Someone mentioned Simpsons, so it's just all going to keep coming back to Simpsons.
Yeah, that's right.
I think my other choice would be Breaking Bad, because essentially that's saying that, you can justify anything you do, any piece of behaviour, if it's in the quest of looking after your family.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
It was like the Uber Dadness.
Yeah.
Could I bring up Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Even though he's not a father per se, he's a very good father figure. Well, yeah, he was a father to Alfonso Ribeiro. Yeah, that's a good point. Carlton's dad. But yeah, he was really a father to Will, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some fantastic moments there. George Papadopoulos.
Yep. We're just going to dive into obscurity now.
We're gonna get weirder and weirder, aren't we?
Or do you have a reason why George Papadopoulos was a good dad?
No, I just think once again he kind of sits in that mark of the laconic dad without kind of having too many airs and graces about him. I think that he was relatively, stayed in his presence within the.
Yeah.
I also think that the dad that I'm destined to turn into is Morty from Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
I think Jerry's dad from Seinfeld is the dad who I'm pretty much just going to turn into.
But I'm going to be a Frank. I know that. Like, there's no doubt. Oh, there's no doubt. Like, my parents are the Costanzas, and I'm quite happy to... Before you ask Buckland, yes, I'm quite happy to leave that in there, because it's been well documented. Then I think that, they probably even wear that with a certain badge of pride, and I just know that will be me at some point.
Yeah. I guess that makes me Uncle Morty. Leo then.
It's like a seal.
Yeah. What about movies, guys? Are there any particular dad movies? I feel, even
Commando.
though I wasn't a dad when I did it. Yeah, I was going to say, I felt daddy watching 90s Schwarzenegger action films.
I think Die Hard comes in there.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
I with Die Hard, what do you get? You go 1, 3, 2, 4?
In terms of quality or order of watching? What do you mean?
Or dadness.
Dadness?
Yeah, I mean the it's snowing at the airport one. It's good, but it's not the second best one.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, he's a crap dad. The crappest dad might have to be the dad in Home Alone.
Oh yeah,
he's terrible.
He's a terrible father,
and like not only obviously forgetting a child, leaving it behind, but like think about how expensive their house must be. He would have spent no time with those children. He'd always be working.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there was something that it was like they worked out that he had to be in some kind of dodgy industry because they say he's like a garbage man on the show or something, but no one's affording that house on garbage salaries. He's part of the mob.
Is he a garbage collector in that in the movie?
It's not that per se, but there's something that leads you to believe he might be working in organised crime.
So where does Tony Soprano fit in here?
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
No, very interesting father figure. Tony Soprano, what a great exploration of fatherhood on television. Breaking Bad, good, but Soprano, ooh.
Yeah.
What about Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire? Is that
controversial?
Horrendous dad or is that good dad?
That's a
good dad.
One.
It's good dad.
Good dad, is it?
Really?
Yeah. Wants to spend time with them.
Right.
So lies to them.
Yeah. Dresses as a woman and infiltrates the home.
Could you make that movie these days?
No. No,
You couldn't, could you?
there's no way. There's so many movies would never ever get greenlit.
Yeah, Spaceballs.
That's where you went.
Where did you go to Spaceballs after Mrs. Doubtfire?
Well, couldn't get
Spaceballs could be made today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is,
And is Princess Vespa's dad a good dad? The king?
what about Vader? Speaking of Darth Vader,
Oh,
is that
Darth
good,
Vader?
good dad, bad dad?
Not the best dad, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I don't think he's the best dad. You don't abandon your children and then
And slaughter other
wait
ones.
for them to come and fight you, and then say, "How about you hang out with me more?"
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
Don't
hang
know.
more.
Yeah.
Blow up a few of their like planets where they grew up, and then go, "You know what? You should hang out with me."
Well,
go back to your
it's more like I was going to, conquer the universe with this old dude, but now that you're here, why don't we do it?
Oh, you don't want to? You don't want to join me?
Oh, Jesus.
Great. Oh, I'm your dad though.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
you
my
don't wanna hang
hand.
out with your old man. Oh.
Yeah, should have just dropped this load in a sock. Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
I'm going to go for a bit of a weird one. The dad out of Juno.
Okay.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah.
dad.
Good dad. I think very good
Yeah.
dad. Like, there was like zero judgment going on there. It was just kind of this pure support, and I think it was a nice moment. Like, I think there was a potential there to go down that path of the angry parents and
Is that
everything like
played?
that. And
Is that J.K. Simmons?
it certainly
Yeah,
is
J.K.
JK.
Simmons, yeah.
Before
I
he,
love
yeah.
it. I love a bit of J.K. Simmons, no matter what he's doing.
Well, he's pretty good dad in Oz as well.
I was going to say, yeah.
He's got his sons in the clink with him.
Schlesinger, yeah. He gets shat
Schillinger.
on eventually. Schillinger, yeah. He
Schillinger,
gets
yeah.
shat on eventually, so that's that's fine.
What
Yes, his
about?
sons-
Here's
What
a
about
difficult
old
question
man?
for you. Who's the best dad in Three Men and a Baby?
Now we're right
Gutenberg.
in
It's
our
got to be
wheelhouse.
Gutenberg.
gotta be
It's always
Gutenberg.
Gutenberg.
It's got to
definitely
be
not dancing.
Gutenberg.
Definitely not dancing. Don't know what Silic was even doing there.
Yeah,
I think
Gutenberg.
it's got to be Gutenberg can be an answer to a
You
lot
wouldn't
of
leave your.
fucking questions.
You wouldn't leave.
Gotta
your
be
shit to go.
Gutenberg.
The episode. I can't believe it's not Gutenberg.
Yeah. Go, Matt, sorry I interrupted you.
I was going to say, what about Eugene Levy from American Pie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very
good
understanding of the pie situation.
That's making an effort.
Yeah.
Awkward, obviously awkward and humorous, but
Yeah.
it's just,
That's
all
a
right.
movie that definitely does not hold up.
No,
but
certainly.
He
Oh.
is. He's probably the redeeming feature of that entire
Yeah.
film. To be honest, like when you go back and watch it again, like the rest of the characters are just awful.
It just doesn't make sense. Yeah,
It doesn't work.
What,
I'm
awful in
gonna
what
go-
way, though? Rapey?
What
do you
very
mean?
rapey.
Just everything, but even like the whole, like you kind of, it's a very confused film. I think, like and the fact that you go back and you're looking at like, I think it was one of those ones which at the time it was kind of whatever, and you kind of have these memories of what happens in it, and then you go back and watch it, and you're like, this is not the movie I remember.
No.
Like all that funny kind of shtick stuff happens very few and far between.
no.
And a lot of it's just
But that one guy only likes taking a shit at his house.
Yeah.
That's funny, right?
Yeah.
I think it's because you remember the vibe of it more than what actually
absolutely,
happens.
absolutely, and that's what I mean. Like that was the thing, as opposed to
I was 14 years old. Yeah, it was like
Fellas, what about Liam Neeson?
in Taken.
Oh,
Taken.
style.
Is
Yeah.
that
Bad
good
dad.
dadding or is that just
Nah,
scary
bad.
dadding?
Why does he keep
This-
letting it happen?
yeah. And there's some really good points about this. Is that the idea that and it's a very American, I think, attitude. And not to say it doesn't happen in Australia as well, because we kind of taken on that culture and everything. But the idea that you will do anything for your family, and it's like, well, the most important thing you can do is wash them. Ah, well, yeah, well, that's kind of good. And, make sure that they're well fed and make sure
Yeah.
they're well educated and do this and do that. They're the things which make a difference in a child's life, not owning 50 guns and wanting to go and pursue some kind of revenge fantasy for anyone daring
right.
to touch your
Put them in
beloved
situations
child.
where they keep getting kidnapped.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. Like, it's a pretty, like, as a concept, the movies are poor. And then as a dad, I think that, if he was a better father, she wouldn't have been put in that situation in the first place. So,
The children, it's always important in those movies too, that the children suffer no enduring trauma from being kidnapped.
No.
Dad loves me.
Yeah.
But also,
Thanks,
wasn't she late teens?
Oh, yeah, she was an adult.
She's got no learning moments out of that. She's already an adult. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, and this kind of segues into not only dad shows, but dad shows that dads can watch with their kids. I'm going to go for Bluey's dad. So Bluey's obviously very, very new. But if you want to take some lessons in parenting, just sit and watch Bluey, a couple of episodes of that. That is probably the most archetypal. If you want to talk about aspirational dads, he pretty much hits the mark every time. He's very, very... Yeah. It's all about...
Is this a dog?
Play. Yeah, it's all about...
Oh, mate, Monty, you are entering a world. You are entering this world
actually,
now.
Probably not even that long. I reckon that within...
How long have I got? When do we start watching telly, by the way?
Okay.
Not long.
Yeah.
It's up to you, but we started pretty early and we haven't seen any negative results. And...
I don't know any. I don't know if In the Night Garden's still on ABC.
Oh, I love In the Night Garden. I watched a little bit of that.
Really?
Yeah, with my younger brother. When my younger brother, I have two half brothers who are, one is 10 years younger than me, the other is about 14 years younger than me. No, sorry, one is 20 years younger, the other one is 24 years younger. Yeah, that makes it more.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was, smoking a lot of weed at that time, so I watched In the Night Garden with him.
Right.
And, the thing that got me most was the family of Russians that appeared to live next door. The very small
Pinky
ones.
Porcupines? Porcupine?
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
There were two. One was red, one was blue.
Yep.
Maca Paca was pretty weird too, man. Why
Well, that show was designed for 6-month-old children, I think. So it's not far off.
Yeah.
works for a
Literally, they
22-year-old
researched-
stoned guy too. So.
Yeah, 22-year-old stoners. Yeah.
So
But they actually designed a show around what attracts, how long can we hold kids' attention, what do they want?
Yeah.
Let's just have weird bouncy shapes.
Very similar to the Wiggles. The Wiggles are all... Everything in the Wiggles is basically slots perfectly into the early years learning framework because they're all preschool educators, and so every song and every moment is slots perfectly into those developmental stages. So there's lots of really good, there's some really good quality children's television out there.
So
is the
Great.
Rich, as a teacher of year one, is it usually?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So do you find each year that the kids watch pretty much the same shows, or do they change up kind of year to year? Because I would think it'd be the same shows all the time because the kids are just going through that phase, right?
Not really. I think that you get trends. I think it's very similar. You think about what you would have watched as in an early childhood. And however, things like there's the enduring ones, there's the seminal ones, I suppose your Sesame Streets and Play Schools.
Yeah.
And never going anywhere. But then you've got the new ones like the Blueies and stuff like that, the Wiggles. All those things are going to be perpetually popular. But then there's the other ones, because I think that by the time they kind of hit you one, you're really starting to see them own their own identity.
Yeah.
And so you're starting to see
finding
a lot
YouTube,
of
right?
Oh,
they're already on YouTube.
It's YouTube.
It's absolutely...
Yeah.
YouTube's ridiculous. The number of kids that I had when I had a year 6 class a couple of years ago, I think probably it would have been out of the class of 30, 18 of them all wanted to be either YouTubers or professional gamers. Were the only two options. That was what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a YouTuber.
I've got 2 of those in my house.
Yeah. And that's all they want to do. So it's kind of they haven't quite hit that phase yet, I don't think. And I think that all power to the parents who kind of are restricting that. But, there are lots of things that you can see already some of those seeds starting to be planted. So some of the YouTube stuff, some of the gaming stuff. So that's a big thing now. See, I think it is completely different environment to what we grew up in. I don't think even,
No question.
10 years ago, compared to what kids would have been into then compared to now is so different.
But are people putting, kids that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old in front of YouTube now rather than, say, ABC
Absolutely.
for kids. Or
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can get YouTube Kids. So
yeah.
you can get all kinds of the apps that are. But a weird thing is still is that even though YouTube has literally billions of hours of content on it, they still seem to watch the same kind of things. Because I remember, like, my kids are pretty much identical age to Wiggo's kids, and whenever we would catch up, they would all have watched the same trending videos or the same like 4 people that are gamers or something like that. It's still weirdly limited.
I get you.
It's not like, oh, they're all watching all these crazy stuff. They're like, oh, do you watch them? Yes. Do you watch them? Yes. And then they all know the same kind of thing. So it's still
that's pretty amazing, though, isn't it? Really, when you think of volume.
Well, I think that's the kind of algorithms they use. I listened to a podcast about this the other day. In that, if you start with the same thing, you will go on a very similar path to others.
Right.
So if you are starting in the same place and enjoy that thing, it's going to recommend the same set of things that it recommends to someone else who watched that same set of things. So you end up going down the same path. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes it preloaded that a small handful of people are going to be really successful then.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's that determined?
It's just a threshold, right? Remember, like, again, my daughter posts YouTube videos, and they're just weird, like 20-second, montages of her favorite TV show or favorite anime is, with music over the top of it, and it's rubbish. But one of her videos has 400,000 views.
Wow!
It reached a threshold because I was trying to work it out, like how it happened.
Did she get paid for it?
No, God no.
No, you got to switch on. You got to have an account where you choose to switch ads on.
And you've got to have a certain amount of regularity. It's not just one.
Yeah,
you don't just get one video. And
it's the subscribers is the big thing.
Yeah, subscribers. Yeah. So she did that, and immediately she was like, "Oh my God, look! It's had 2,000 views," and I was like, "That's crazy that it had 2,000 views." But very quickly it went from 2,000 to 10,000, and then 50,000 really quickly. Yeah. Because once it hits a threshold,
it just keeps going,
shared and recommended. But she can never work it out because one's got I'll see if I can find it. One's got 331,000 views. The next most popular one is 1.6 thousand views, and the one after that has 300.
Yeah.
So it's not like once you do one video, everyone watches it.
No.
She's got enough subscribers, but they don't all watch. She's got 3,000 subscribers, all because of one video.
Wow.
And it's all kind of...
Could we... Wait a second. I've got a good idea. Can you ask her to do a Dad Pants shout-out?
You took my joke off me. I was trying to get to
You know what? I've got access to her account, so why don't I
just start posting our episodes there? Yeah,
I was going to say, two-part question. Should we be doing YouTube videos, and is she available for a workshop?
There you go.
But she has no idea. It drove her crazy straight away because she could not work. Oh, this one's had 300,000 views, and why is this one so popular?
But also
exactly the same, and no one's watched it. It's great.
You just need the right person sharing it at the right time too. So maybe someone with a big following shared it at a really good moment for the algorithms to work for or whatever.
Exactly.
So
I might be getting too deep in the rabbit hole here, but the podcast I listen to I think would interest you guys very much. You don't have to include this in the pod, guys, Stu, but it's called Rabbit Hole. I believe.
I've listened to it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's about the algorithms that YouTube use, and it follows.
Why can't we give him a shout
all the videos this one guy had watched on YouTube for I think 6 years, something like that, and followed his journey on becoming a pretty much extremist right-wing guy back to an extremist left-wing guy, all based on his YouTube watching and the algorithm that took him there. Yeah, it's really
interesting. They fix the algorithm, they change the algorithm.
Exactly.
And now they recommend alternative, like, oh, you're watching a lot of these. How about this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And at the beginning they weren't, and so it was an echo chamber that he was stuck in of right-wing voices saying, yes, you should feel this way, you should do that.
I do get a bit concerned as well now with in regards to children's viewing, is that, as we were growing up, you'd watch, afternoon TV was half an hour blocks of the show and then a different show, and you'd have there's probably 2 shows you wanted to watch out of your 2 hours worth of viewing. Like, you'd hang out for the other ones in between, but in the most part, you watched, the others were all filler. Yeah. Whereas now, because of streaming, kids are just getting absolutely saturated. And my kids are doing as well, and it concerns me. And there's certain times when they're watching TV where we won't let them stream. Like, you have to watch some different things to see what else is out there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think that's something which is really concerning, because, I know that my kids will just sit and watch fucking Paw Patrol on repeat, and literally do when given the choice. And they have sat there and had these huge sessions where you just sit and watch the same show over and over again, and you realise just how limiting that is, I suppose. Like, you're not very looking for that healthy diet of entertainment, because that was a really cool thing growing up, was that you'd stumble upon things that you had no idea about.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
You're
not sampling.
That's exactly right. Well, you're not going to know what else is there. So I think that's where, it's good to still have those things even within the app world. Like, we really try to avoid the commercial TV stations. Sorry, Stu. And we're kind of, we're in the ABC land and the streaming land and stuff like that. But, trying to, as I say, broaden their diet as much as possible, in introducing things. It's a much more fraught and much more difficult task, I think, these days.
Yeah, right. Well, in the 2 minutes we've got left, let me ask you a legit dad question, because I have this argument with my youngest kid a lot, and my resolve to keep having the same argument over and over wavers, but tell me if I'm on the right path here. He just wants to watch YouTube whenever he gets a chance to watch TV, right? And I tell him he can't watch YouTube every time, because I want him to watch some things that have some narrative to it.
Right.
Or, where somebody's used skill to write a script or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's improv, Buckland. Everything's improv.
Yeah, which is fine.
Genius.
And I love that stuff too. I'll go down YouTube rabbit holes, no worries. But, I've had a number of years of being able to watch and enjoy and understand narrative and stuff. So should I keep this up of trying to make him have this stuff, watch scripted shows?
Absolutely.
I have a really
well?
quick point to make on that. My father tried to make me watch musicals a lot, because he was like, this is, it says a lot about my father, but this is real storytelling. Look at this. And it's like, maybe we're just trying to hold on to what we had. Do you know what I mean? What we had.
That's what I'm asking, really.
Yeah. And I'm an English teacher, and F&A, you got to make them watch narrative, and you got to make them be critical of it. My kids have spent all their lives with me looking at narrative programming and pointing out the writing involved, or see what they did there. That was a joke from previously, that kind of stuff. And especially when Violet starts watching terrible shit like The Kissing Booth and To All the Boys I Loved Before, sitting there and pointing out the flaws in writing and acknowledging, even in those crappy movies, but watching with them and discussing it on a deeper level and, that's funny, helps as well. Just for them to be critical interpreters. Again, English teacher. That one thing I really like that both my kids are very good at is pointing out, I don't know, the nuts and bolts of things. Why they like stuff is a bit more than I don't know, I like it because it's good. They're already thinking of what connects them to it, and then that makes them look for stuff themselves that is a bit more, I guess, has a bit more depth to it. So like Violet watched 10 Things I Hate About You and really liked it, thought it was hilarious. It's got some problems too, but not as much as American Pie. And then was like, well, what else is there? What started looking up like other movies around that time and watch Clueless, and these movies that they're still pop culture, but they still have a bit more depth to it. And then she watched Bo Burnham's Eighth Grade. I don't know if you've seen that, but that is a really realistic viewpoint and modern of being in year 8, made like 3 years ago, looking at Instagram and all that stuff, that Violet really connected to. And so it's that kind of stuff where you're just nudging them to not, it's not, oh, you should watch narrative because it's just what I watched. It's you should watch narrative because then you can be a bit more critical of crap, I think, more importantly. And then you'll seek out, it makes me happy when both my daughters are seeking out quality stuff, not just what are their friends watching, that sounds good, I'll watch that. Is that, I want to watch a good movie. I want to watch a great movie. Like Violet actually saying like, what's a really good movie? And so, all right, let's watch The Exorcist. Not yet, but it's coming. She's a big horror movie fan. So
I look at it in the same way as your diet, in a reading diet, a food diet, whatever it might be. You wouldn't let your kids sit there and just eat chips all the time because they like chips.
Yeah, good point.
You got to make them eat veggies. You got to make them eat meat, and then they're going to realise, oh, hang on a second. One day they'll go, this is actually not too bad. And the same thing with reading. If they just sat there and read nothing but comic books the entire time, which is nothing wrong with comic books. This is the thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with each of these things in and of themselves in moderation. So I think that's...
Does that discourage specialisation? What if one kid loves something so much and that's what they're destined to do and that's what they're going to become? They're going to become a comic book artist by reading.
Too bad. You're going to have a choco with your steak.
That's exactly right. You've got to... That's it. You can't just eat steak all the time.
And we'll finish with that.
Remember to mix up your steak with some choco, everybody, and have a good night. Good night, boys.
Cheers.
That was fun.
There you go. Sorry.
That's a weird way to finish, but I like it.
Yeah.
It was a weird way to finish.